my phone.
Hi.
Hello.
Look it, we're unmuted and it's correct at the top now.
Whoop whoop. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. It is very much Tuesday. Yes, you're no longer freezing.
Well, I'm all right.
You're all right? That's good.
I'm not really. I was really, really cold when You're never really.
I'm never. I know. It is way beyond hot for me.
Well, you know, it's been so hot that it hasn't really been cold in here. And now it's not like uber hot outside.
Right.
The air feels really air-ish in here. So it was really cold. Went down and got something to eat and came inside. I was like, oh, it's cold in here.
Yep.
Because there wasn't like a...
Big temperature difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of matchy-matchy today. Same color?
Sorta.
Yeah. Our toppers are similar.
We totally planned that.
Yeah. I feel like it's...
Yeah. We still can't trade, though. That's such a shame.
I know. We could try.
We can try. All right. Not so much.
Mine's not centered.
Mine's not either. No. Okay. Here.
Yeah, we tried.
Yep. No, sorry.
There we go.
All right. Back to business.
Back to business. All right. No pun intended, right?
No.
All right.
Not.
So we did you do anything fun this weekend?
No.
No, you weren't feeling.
I wasn't feeling well at all.
Yeah.
I watched TV and played on my iPad and slept. That was my exciting. Mostly the last one.
I think that I was with the person that I was selling that sewing machine to when you left for like most of the day.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, it's funny. We always laugh because, you know, when you're just buying a new sewing machine, you have so many more questions. And then when you're on like your 6th or 7th machine,
You're like, I want that one.
Yeah, you already know what you want. So we always say like the higher end model machines, they almost sell themselves.
They don't take half the amount of work on our end.
No, way more questions and stuff. So she was very excited though. I think that might have been the gal who sent the email about the singer, and she didn't know they existed. That there was technology because
She didn't know there was technology.
she didn't know there was sewing machine technology. So, yeah.
All right.
But that was fun.
It is fun when you get to introduce somebody into the world
Yes.
of all these fun things. There's
yeah.
so many fun things.
Needle threaders. That is a
And-
really
and-
big one.
Right?
Yes.
I
So
love
fun.
the look on people's face when they're like, there's a what?
I know.
It's just so much fun.
Yes, it was.
It really is a lot of fun.
Yes.
I really enjoy that part.
Yeah.
It's fun. I don't think I could have cared to anything on set. I just was,
Yeah.
I was done for. So I went home, passed out. I was out until after you were off work. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pulling in the driveway when your text came through.
I was like, whoa,
So-
sorry.
It's all right. I just really wanted you to know. It didn't really even need a response, just so you knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But
Like, whoops, missed that. I was sleeping.
yeah. Well,
So
I
that was my
sometimes
exciting weekend.
we need to do that. I went to
unfortunately.
IKEA yesterday.
Oh, how was that? Did you buy anything?
I did buy a few things. So
Buy big things or buy just a couple
little
little
things. It still spent like $250. It doesn't take long.
Doesn't take much.
No, we were moving some furniture around, and some of those little cube things that we have, where Dave wanted to put them, there's a floor register, so you need to lift them up, and they no longer make the casters. So
Interesting.
now they have like a foot kit that goes on the bottom of it. It's like a rectangle base with feet on them. So it said low inventory. So of course I bought them online so that I could pick them up because I was afraid by the time I got out there,
Somebody else would have bought it.
they would be gone. So I got some of those, and then because I was there, I had to walk around. So
Oh yeah, it's part of the gig.
part of the gig. But
Absolutely.
it's so driving all the way to the other side of town from
That's a long way from where you are.
my town.
Yeah.
My side of town now was just crazy. It was raining and then there was,
Yeah, it was not nice this weekend.
yeah, when I got off on the other side of town, it's like every place that I tried to go, there was an issue. So I was like, well, I'll stop at Target first. I literally went through the light at Target, like right in front of Target. The light went out, and I pulled into the parking lot, and the Target lights were out.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm on that side of town, so there are 4 more Targets that are easy to get to. So I'm like, I'll just go to a different one. And then there was like an accident, so I had to go like this way. And I was like, somebody doesn't want me to be at IKEA early.
Well.
So yeah, it was just funny. And I was just like, well, okay, I'll just go this way. At least I was on the familiar side of town. So
Say, at least you knew where you were.
Yes,
so.
it wasn't like when I get detoured on the other side of town and I literally have no
clue
idea
how to get
where
anywhere.
I'm at.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's bad.
but I'm always surprised. I'm like, that did not used to be a Taco Bell. Like, that was Kentucky Fried Chicken before. Lots of things have changed.
So changes, absolutely.
Yep. So
Doesn't take
I IKEA'd.
You IKEA'd. I nothinged.
Nothing. That's
I
okay.
nothinged. Yeah, I felt like a complete bum, but
Yeah.
obviously I needed it. But
Yeah.
what a waste.
Ours
waste.
started because my dad's coming this weekend, and so I wanted to hit the spare bedroom was kind of where all of the things go to die. You know, when you don't have space for them,
Yeah.
you put them in the other place to get to. But now they need to be gotten to.
Gotten to.
Gotten to. So that led into this, that led into that. You know, it's a snowball effect. I still haven't, of course, finished cleaning the room. That's what we were gonna do.
Well, I did get upstairs yesterday and turned my sewing machine on
For your
the
update.
first time in
Yeah.
I don't even know how many days, and I was like, oh, there's no exclamation point. Guess it needs to have power to download that. So I, hit the auto load button and waited, and exclamation point came right on right
Yeah.
away, and it said load, and there was no bars, and I'm like, oh, that's
Took a little while.
I don't even know if it. So I turned it off, turned it back on, and then 2 bars came on right away, and still no more bars after that. So I have no idea what it was doing. So I just left it and cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a lot of people trying to do the download at the same time.
I was wondering the same thing, and I was like, well, it's late at night where, everybody's home
Yeah.
or, after dinner kind of thing. So I was like, well, maybe. But,
Yeah.
oh, well.
It's a 2-parter.
Yeah.
So I did manage to get, I did both parts of mine, which I felt that was a great accomplishment at my crappy internet at
Well,
home.
yeah,
So,
I was like, well, if Sarah can do it, I know I can. I got good internet. So.
Yeah.
But it was, I'll run up and see
check it out.
what's what. But I thought, well, maybe there was an email that came in from Baby Lock late yesterday that said they recommend the USB because it is so big, that it will go faster
For sure.
using the USB version instead of trying to go through the wireless for it. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll just go that route. But then I was like, yeah, maybe I won't if it's there. I'll just let it do its thing.
Just let it do its thing. Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where the day went today.
Well, I do. We were figuring all this out.
Yeah, we were trying to do math.
So
math hurts.
we had a customer come in this morning that we haven't seen in quite some time, and found out she's been quite ill, which I'm so sorry to hear that. And but she's been watching a lot of videos while she's been down and out, and she picked up clear blue tiles, and so we thought that's a great thing to talk about. So she
been
bought.
a while.
She bought the last ones we had here in the store. So we threw some in a cart and got some more coming back in. But we also talked about, what do you do with them once you buy them? Where do you keep them? How do you store them and all of that? So that's what we worked on this afternoon. And that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about how to use them, how to apply different ones in the, using more than one size in a project, so you don't have to just repeat the same thing over and over again. And then
we have it's not all
it's
the
not
way
completely
done,
finished,
but
almost there.
We have an idea for a holder for them, so that a way that you can store them or hang them. And we'll make that pattern free when we're finished. So we kind of have like
Once we get the
kind of a template here that we're showing you what
like
we
the
did.
4th time. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so you can have a place to put them and store them.
Yeah, and it's not a hard.
No, we'll make it really easy.
Yep, and
Squares and
you
rectangles.
can even practice using your clear blue tiles while you're making it.
Absolutely.
So that is what I got to do while Sarah was doing math.
Yeah, math hurts. I wish they would have taught math via quilt when I was in high school. It probably would have been much more exciting to me.
Were you interested in that back in high school? Or would you have laughed at people if
I
they tried to tell you that?
probably wouldn't have laughed at people because my grandma quilted. I always thought it was a really cool thing.
Yeah, I mean that I thought home ec was cool, but quilting never really, you know, I was one of those people that thought, so wait, you're going to cut fabric up and then you're going to sew it back together. That sounds like you're an idiot. You
Yeah.
I'm like, now I'm one of those idiots. So it's like, yeah, good job.
Yep.
But you know, you can make it look so much prettier if you do
Yeah.
that.
Would have been more exciting than
But
pies or rectangles.
there is that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really liked all of the other stuff. So I mean, I made a lot of clothes and things, but I didn't quilt until the 2000s.
Right. But I mean, if they had talked about like how to find your armhole circle with like using geometry and algebra,
That would have been interesting to me.
super helpful, right?
Yeah,
Because these would have been skills we would have used.
she's not wrong. So
So Darlene says she recommended teaching math by quilting also. I
Right?
think it's a
I
good way.
mean-
It's an alternative way.
it absolutely.
You need a lot of those.
You do need a lot of those tools.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it doesn't do it by itself.
No, it
Except
does
for
not.
the new machines kind of do.
It kind of does. I can't wait for that.
Cool. I am
yeah.
so excited.
We veered off again. So
I'm
sorry.
so excited. I'm like, I want the upgrade.
I know.
I'm
I know.
So excited.
Yeah,
and my
we are
brain
super-
has just been blowing up with different class ideas and things.
Yeah,
that
I have
wanna
like a
do.
sketch of some stuff that
Yeah.
I want to incorporate in our
Yeah.
I
I think that we have too much. I think we're going to have more than one class because
For
we're going
sure.
to have to break it down because
Yeah.
if we try to teach you everything that we want to teach you in one class, you guys aren't going to learn anything because we're going to throw way too much at you.
Right. Just gonna have brain melt.
Yep. We're going to blow your brains up instead of fill them up.
Yeah.
So,
But we could do them, and
well-
maybe we could do like a month-long class where we do, you know,
Part A,
Part
Part B.
Yeah. Then they have time to work on Part A, and and then Part A goes with Part
A
B.
is for awesome and part B is for beautiful. And
I was like bootylicious.
okay, I need a minute. Sorry.
That was all I could come up with. The B.
Did you hear that? Okay. All right. So
Let's see.
we're not gonna even we're gonna stop that
Okay.
live at least. So
What, curvaceous? Yeah, that's a good one.
we're gonna stop. We're just gonna stop. I'm sorry I started it. Wow.
That's fantastic.
W is for wow. All right.
Oh.
So
Clear blue tiles.
Clear blue tiles, they are available in your basic essentials set. So when you buy the essentials, you get the essentials. You'll get the piece to wrap around your quilt to keep it managed underneath the throat so that it's not like all over the place. That's a cha.
Yes.
Yeah, one of those.
Comes with sound effects.
It does. Those are always free. You get a USB with all of the included designs, which you get the multitude of sizes in the 4 seasons plus swirls. And is there something else, or is that those 5 sections? Something like that.
Yeah.
And then this is not the same pen because I
get-
stole that and put it somewhere else. You get 2 water-soluble Kimberbell marking pens.
But wait, let's go back to this. What's the first thing that they should do when they get this?
The first thing that you should do is you yes, it is. You should put that in your computer and make a backup of those files. You should put them somewhere other than on that USB stick. So you certainly can just put that in your machine and pull the designs off of that while you're doing your designs, but that is not going to last forever.
Because that is one thing we can guarantee.
We can absolutely guarantee that will take a dump at some point and
Yes.
stop working. So make sure that with any USB files that you receive, you put them somewhere with a backup so that you have them available all of the time instead of just while you, so, because fortunately we have a system now that will know if you bought clear blue tiles. So if you call me and you say, I didn't do what you said, and I need some help because I don't have any of my files anymore, we would actually be able to look and find out if you bought it from us and we could help you out. But it's just so much easier if you just back them up and then you always have it.
Yes.
So, oh look, I just buried it.
It's like it magically
It
appeared.
just magically appeared. I wonder who did that. Thank you, Aiden.
Oh.
So this is one of the Kimberbell water-soluble pens, and you get 2 in that Essentials pack. So you get 1 slap band, 1 USB, 2 pens, and then a slew of the clear blue tiles. And those are going to come in 2x, 4x, 6x, 8x, in a whole bunch of different shapes and sizes. Not really shapes. They're kind of all the same shape.
They're mostly just rectangles.
Just, yeah, not a whole lot
Couple
of
squares.
squares and rectangles, but you get what I mean. And that is the Essentials pack. So everybody needs that one. Because even if you have a larger machine and you want the expansion set, you still need the Essentials set because that has all of the good stuff and your base pieces. So you only get the extended sizes in the expansion set. So the expansion set comes with the 12-inch and the 14-inch pieces where you get 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2s in the expansion.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Essentials.
Essential.
I'm so sorry.
That's right.
They both start with E. Totally should have changed that.
Right.
But that's okay. We'll figure it out. So,
Should have used Bootylicious.
totally. Yeah, because that would have totally worked. He's totally trying to keep a straight face over there. He's just shaking his head like, oh my goodness. What are those 2 doing over there? So, once you have those, what do you do with them? Okay, great. So I've got all of these templates that sound really funky when I do this, right?
Sound effects are important.
They are. And it's always good when they're free.
Yes.
Because who wants to pay for that? I mean, nobody, right? No. So, once you have these, they have. I'm sorry?
I said I need my screaming goat from
That's
Thor.
a good one. That's a good one. I thought it was Dave's screaming goat.
It is, but that would have been perfect as an insert right there. If you've seen Thor, you know about the screaming goats.
Screaming goats are phenomenal.
Yes.
They really are the best. Just Google it, you'll see. So, clear blue tile, you've got a big crosshair, which is kind of the whole point. And you have markings at corners and side crosshair points. You've got this little tiny square in here. That little tiny square is actually super important. It's not for filling in. Don't just color it in because I mean, you can, but it's not going to help you out.
Color code it instead of writing the color.
What that's for is the size of the square so that when you get to your crosshair on your quilt or whatever your project happens to be, you go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to fill that in with the 8x12 size design or the 6x6 design, or in this case, the
So you pick
8x8
the right design.
So whatever size this says here is what you write with your marking pen inside that box there. Now, if you do end up using all of the same size, of course,
You only have to do that once.
or
Maybe.
just
As a
maybe
reminder.
you can remember that. I don't know. That's up to you. So that's what a clear blue tile is. Now, how do you use them?
I don't know. Are you going to show us?
I think we should show them.
We should show
What do you
them.
think?
I think so. Let's.
All right. So I've got one thing that we didn't mention is you do get a instruction manual, if you will. So in here, it gives you a breakdown of all of the sizes. I guess you get 2 of those. We didn't. We only got 1.
True.
because we got like a,
Clearly, we've paid a lot of attention to the ones in our that we personally own.
I don't use the slap bands.
Me either, but I just said
I just,
we've totally paid a lot of
obviously,
attention
I
to
really,
that.
really use that. Yeah, so you've got all of the size information. So know what size hoops that you have. That will tell you what size templates that you can use.
Yeah.
Don't attempt a size that you can't use, because that's kind of a waste. Don't plan your quilt with something that's too big for your machine.
Right.
So you have planning fields and everything in here. And then these are, I thought there was another one. It's called loops. There we go. So we have winter, spring, fall, and summer. You've got swirls, you've got loops, and then you have borders. And then you also have what they call bitty blocks, which are 2x2 little, oh, that's super cute. You can just add a little extra punch of something in random spots. So those are the little 2x2 guys. They do come in, of course, all of the formats, and then it gives you instructions literally walking you through that. I'm not going to read those. We're just going to do what we're supposed to do. So I don't need all of these for what I'm doing. This one is a border piece, so I'm not doing a border, so I definitely don't need any border pieces. I don't need a little bitty block, so I'm definitely not going to need that. I have 2 of these. I don't need one. So on and so forth. So you can set aside the ones that you obviously don't need. All right. So I know, because I already marked it, that these are the sizes that I ended up using. Depending upon the size machine that you have, maybe you only have a 5x7. So you really only need this one.
Yep.
Or this and the few that are smaller than that. But what you're going to do then is you would find your edges, and you would line it up with the area, and you would draw inside of the lines. What's important then is that you would also draw the alignment pieces on the edges there. Can't see that, can they?
There we go.
All right. So I have already quilted that little section there, but what you would want to do is literally put the markings on the edges as well as the crosshair. The crosshair is for you to line up at your machine. The edge is so that you can line it up with the next tile that you're going to place. I'm going to slide that down. All right, so you can kind of see I'm lining up these marks now with the edge that I drew the first time, and then I would draw my next crosshair. I also want to draw them on the sides that I am going to connect to. I'm going to zoom back out again. I always go the wrong way. Why do I always go the wrong way? All right, so that's where these marks come in play. You've got a crosshair in the center that you're going to mark very clearly. That's going to tell you where to line up your needle position, center of your hoop. And you've got edges that you're going to line up with the other tile pieces. Okay, that's going to tell you where to line those up. So if I am just using this, I'm going to figure out, do I want them to go this way? Do I want them to go this way? What is my complete perimeter size? What do I have? How much area am I trying to fill? What's that?
What marker are you using? The ones in the tiles don't work that good.
So I have a friction pen. So this is a heat away made by Pilot. And we have some here. We don't have as many as we once had. We used to have a bin that you could buy just one. We've got some packages now. That individual bundle isn't available at the moment. But these are fantastic. I have them in multiple colors at home because I can see them on different colors of fabric.
What's that?
And they're
talking about Bootylicious over here.
Tony liked that one. So they heat away. So and they have just a little bit of a thinner tip, I think. The water soluble ones, I am not a personal fan of a water-soluble marking pen. I have hit them with heat where I thought that I had it all gone, and it ended up permanently setting it into my project. I've had it run. I know you've had them run. So I'm not, for me, a personal fan of using water-soluble too much. I know you use something else. Do you want to talk about what you use?
Yeah, so especially for like quilts and table runners and things like that, because I know that they are going to be washed, I just use Crayola washable markers, the fine tip ones that you can get at the office supply store or Target or Walmart or wherever.
And when you have to go to 4 Targets, then you know you're going to find them at one of them.
You're definitely going to find one someplace, yes. But those ones have always come out of my project clean.
Yep.
I've never had any issue, no matter what color fabric I'm using, getting the marker out. You get those generally in minimum of 8, but you can get them in 16s. You can get a lot of colors. Right.
And so again, just like these, where you get a multitude of colors, you can choose the color based on the color of fabric that you're using.
Right. The thing that I point out about friction markers, this one doesn't have a sharp point. So it has a fine point, but it's not.
But it's
sharp.
Not like a fine point.
Right.
Pen.
So
it is a marker tip.
It is a marker tip, kind of like a felt tip marker.
Agreed.
Which prevents you from really pushing down on your fabric a lot. Some of the original friction pens that we had, depending on the color of the fabric that you had when you marked on it, it could leave a residue even later. But keep in mind that every marking pen that you use has some residual product left into it until it has been washed. So even the friction pens, even though we hit it with the iron, the material makeup of that friction pen is still in your fabric. So if it gets cold.
Right. If I go through it in the freezer right after I put an iron on it, it's going to come back.
Right. So you just have to be mindful of that. If I don't have a color of marking pen that works well for me, what I will typically use is like a small piece of painter's tape. And I will, or the Kimberbell white tape.
What she's talking about is, instead, if I can't write on the fabric, putting the tape down and then putting this over it and writing on the tape where I can see on the tape.
Yes.
So once you get it to the machine, you get it lined up, you get the hoop in place, then you remove the tape and stitch.
Exactly. So it does, the tape, obviously you use way more tape than you would if you weren't using that, but it doesn't leave anything behind on my quilt. So if I'm like giving it away and I don't want to make sure that I don't want to wash the whole thing before that's oftentimes what I will use.
Or maybe you just don't have time because it's the last minute or something like that, and you're like, okay, I gotta get this done and I have to do it now because I have to give it away in just a couple hours or whatever, and I don't have time to rinse and dry and then press it back out because you know what's going to happen in the dryer and yada yada yada.
Yes.
So that tape option would allow you to write where you need to, but remove whatever you're writing on without any issue. It wouldn't leave anything behind.
Right. And one of the things that I really like about the Kimberbell Clear Blue tile system is that it isn't your standard traditional edge-to-edge quilting design.
Nope.
So an edge-to-edge quilting design, when you're quilting, it will start here and it will end here. So it starts and ends on the same plane, essentially.
Yep. So that the one next to it starts and ends at the same plane, so that when it leaves off here, it joins with the next piece.
Right.
And so on and so on.
And when you do traditional edge-to-edge quilting, if your fabric has shifted, if you didn't get it in exactly the way that you wanted it, it's going to be super noticeable because the joins don't match.
Right.
With the Kimberbell tiling system, they're basically contained designs where they really don't have like a finite.
There is no real start point. It's bled into the design, so you don't see where it starts and stops, which means it doesn't matter what one you're putting next to the next one, where it lines up. So I can put a 4x6 next to an 8x12, and it doesn't matter because I don't have to line up a point.
And because it doesn't have to be perfect, I don't traditionally draw my lines quite as large as the template actually has you do it, which is why the piece of tape works for me. So I can put the little piece of tape underneath it. I can mark the center on that with, I always do, the arrow is important because I have certainly twisted my fabric and then put my design going this way when it should have been going this way because I just wasn't paying attention. So the arrows are definitely important.
Depending upon your design.
Depending
I mean,
upon,
sometimes the design doesn't.
Except for it didn't fit. So, you know, like I put it in like it just didn't fit because I wasn't paying any attention.
You mean like 6 by 10?
Yes.
The horizontal being wider on one direction than the other.
Yes. Yeah. Just it was totally just it totally my operator area. Yes.
That made
And then I did it one time where I put a smaller design where I should have put a bigger design and just wasn't paying attention. And then of course I had to figure out how to get like a 1-inch design
over there, right?
Over on the thing. So yeah, definitely the arrows are super important because you don't want to just try to figure it out later. That's the beauty. But of course you have pieces, so that's great. But
you do, and you have border pieces that will fit in those little
all of those little spaces. Absolutely. But that is kind of the beautiful thing about this contained system is their designs that they continually create. They really they jigsaw themselves into
one another,
which create a really nice puzzle that doesn't have defined starts and stops. So it does look like it was long armed instead of piecemealed. Yes, or
like somebody tried to fit a random something where it didn't belong.
Yes. So yes, but.
So this, just so you guys know, this is a sandwich that we have over here. We don't have batting inside here. We have what is called by the company that we've pulled it from, Shapeflex, but Shapeflex is called something different everywhere else too. So it would be kind of like a Peltex, Timtex.
Yeah.
It's the firm, real heavy,
like hat brim type stuff.
That stuff.
Yes. Because this was going to be the base of our holder.
So it's going to keep everything nice. It's going to keep it stiff because we like things stiff.
We do.
So that's what this is. So it's got that in between these two pieces. And I do have excess off the side that is actually doesn't have that in there to aid in my hooping so that I have enough fabric to go in the hoop and go to where I actually want all of my stitching to go.
Yes.
Which if you're got a quilt or whatnot, your backing would need to be larger.
Yes.
So that you have something for your hoop to hold on to.
Yes. Ideally both pieces are a little bit larger.
Would be better, yes.
But you can tape an edge down so your foot doesn't grab onto it, or pin an edge down so but something has to be bigger because we're in our embroidery machine.
Right. You've got to have room for your foot to move and actually get to where it needs to go.
Yes.
So we've got space all the way around the outside for that I don't need embroidered. So that we can get to all of the spots that we do want embroidered. Yes. So how did I do this? I looked at it and I said, okay, we need approximately this much space. We can trim off some of that so it's not, we don't know exactly how much it had to be. We had a rough idea based on, we're kind of planning this on the fly here. Yep. So we have a 15 by 18 inch piece here, and I'm just kind of winging that. So this is basically fat quarters in fabric. And I was like, all right, so if I've got 15 inches this way and 18 inches this way, if I have to fill out an 18-inch piece, I have a 12-inch, and 12 plus 6 equals 18. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got a 12-inch piece here. So I didn't want it to look too boxy. You never know exactly where your lines, quote unquote, are going to end up. So I offset those and thought, all right, I'll put a 4x4 to fill in that corner. I'm sorry, 4x6, and that will finish out this side, and put a 6x10 going this way. So I'm going to slide that a little bit so you guys can see where I'm at. So I've got 4 plus 10, that's 14. So I'm getting approximately 14, not 15, but that's okay because of what we needed. So knowing what size you need to have completely quilted, quilt math.
Quilt math.
Gotta love it, right? So I have this area over here, which is basically a 6 by 12 area. So I happen to have an extra 4 by 6 because we keep getting these in random boxes,
Yes.
right? So we had that. So I put that there, and I added 3 4 by 6 pieces over here. So that is how I completed the area. And I moved those pieces. I took my pen and I drew all of those crosshairs. So I have already stitched the 12-inch piece and the 10-inch piece prior to logging in with you guys this afternoon so that you could see a little bit without having to watch an 8-minute stitch out, because
Over and over and over again.
it's not super exciting. So again, when I'm over here and I am writing in, I'm lining up with the edge of my tile here. Am I in? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
And I am literally going to be drawing right on all of those lines. So I'm just drawing. Make sure that you know which one is the long side by that arrow. That's what the arrow is telling you. And then I need to put another one next to it. So I am making sure that I have markings to line that up there. And then I'm going to move that, because you will only have one of these technically.
Yep.
All right. And then I'm going to line up those 3 markings with the markings on this one here, and then mark this here, get my center, so on and so forth. Once you get more comfortable, you can have less lines. Sarah, as she said, she just basically marks her center point with just a little bit
Yep.
of angle to make sure that you're straight, because that's what you need. You don't really need all of it.
No.
You just need to know which way is up and down.
Yes.
And you need to know center. This box here is what I was telling you about. So for this one, I needed to know that it was the 12-inch one, and I just wrote 12 over here. I already knew which 12-inch one I had was an 8 by 12, so I didn't need to write 8 by 12. I just wrote 12. That was enough for my brain to know which one to pull up and stitch there. So that square there, if you need to, that is an opening to tell you which design to pick up and pull into position. Once you have everything marked, we're just going to hoop. So you set all of those aside, cap your pen so it doesn't die, and I am using magnetic hoops. So we have a couple different magnetic hoop options. I meant to grab that other one.
Let me grab it.
This one is by Dime, and it has the singular piece on the top. And basically, once you get your piece lined up, it is basic visual of as close as possible. And then I always start with the center position, and then I drop this side so everything stays smooth. I find if you try to do the whole thing, it just doesn't really work all that well, in my opinion. So this is pretty close to center, I think. What you really want to do with these is you need to make sure, and you can see here, maybe, my top is about a little over a 1/4 inch to the right. I can't put it in my machine that way. I have to make sure that my top is centered on my base, because my machine has no idea where that top is either. So it only knows where my embroidery field is. So I need to make sure that it is in position. So I use my fingers and I make sure that that is correct. And then I do the same thing and make sure that it is on top of my base. I can, in this hoop, not in your other hoops, I can pull and adjust my fabric if I need to. I don't really have too much that I need to adjust there, but if you need to, there's no downward motion that's going to warp that fabric. This is completely flat, so I don't have to worry about that and I can adjust my fabric if I have shifted anything in there.
Yep, it won't distort it.
It will not. That's the word I was looking for.
I knew.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm like, blah,
I got
blah,
you.
blah. Thank you. And if in the repositioning of the magnet, I have moved myself out of position, it's pretty simple. I just lift a corner and tug my fabric over a little bit and put the magnet back down.
Right.
All right.
And this stuff
So-
is stiff, so you definitely have to pay attention.
You do, because it can shift on you pretty simply without you noticing.
Yes.
So when you are using this, once you've worked with it a little bit, it loosens up a little bit, but especially at first, it's almost like a brick.
Yeah, it's really
and
stiff.
it hits like the throat of your machine, and it just moves. So be really careful when you're working with it. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So this is the Brother magnetic hoop. And the thing that you can see that is really different about it is that we have a bunch of little pieces. So instead of having the one top, we have these little pieces here. And what happens when we put your hoop in, I'm just going to slide it in to this corner over here. So instead of dropping that whole piece up, what we can do is we can take the little magnet pieces and we can just slide them over, and you can see that they'll just flip in place. And then we can kind of pull it down this way and lock that in place. Of course, it helps when you have it on the side.
On a flat surface.
Well, I was going to say, I think I took the magnet. I'm like trying to figure out what side I took the magnet off. This side. So.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm up too high over here for you.
But you can see the difference. So you've got these pieces that will snap in place.
Show like the angle
versus
on it so they can see
this.
the side. So there's a smoothing mechanism,
Yep.
if you will, and then so you smooth the fabric as you go, and then it snaps in.
Absolutely.
It works really, really well.
It does. And because you have the individual pieces,
If a piece isn't right where you want it, you
can
adjust
just-
that piece.
Yep.
Super easy.
So it's a little easier to adjust your fabric inside the hoop because you can move individual pieces, but as you're placing it on, you're kind of holding onto your fabric, whereas these hoops, you kind of have to put it down all
In one shot.
Right, and it probably will move a little bit because that's just what it does. And then you'll have to, see, I messed
Wiggle
it
a
up
little,
for,
it's okay.
Yeah, but that is the difference. There is a significant price difference between the different hoops. The dime hoops are a couple $100.
We've
They're
got
like,
that one on sale, and we got the Brother Baby Lock one on sale for, are we still at $275?
we are.
Yep.
So we have this one on sale for $275.
It's supposed to be at $300, so we do have that with a pretty nice sale price.
But it is nice because you have the little different pieces. And if you just ordered an upgrade from us for your Luminaire or your Solaris, and that upgrade has the 10 5/8 by 10 5/8 magnetic hoop from Brother, it's going to be just like that. So it's going to have all
It
of
is
those
made
little
the same way.
pieces and
Yep.
parts, which again is really, really nice. The hoop itself is pretty lightweight.
Comparatively,
much
especially
lighter
yes.
weight than the sashing frame that we had.
Yep. I tried moving it and messed it up. See
That's
what
what
happens.
happens.
You should just left it alone, Lisa. Let sleeping dogs lie, right?
That stuff is really stiff. You probably could use like Annie's or Soft and Stable or Basel or something like that in here as well. If you found working with the Timtix or the Shape Flex
Yep.
was too difficult.
It's not too bad once you just got to pay attention. That's
Yeah.
all. So you can see my crosshair. I'm pretty close to center. This is a 5 by 7 hoop. Again, just for clarification, and I have a 4 by 6 design. So I have some wiggle room. All right. So you want to switch screens. So when we are over here, we need to confirm now that we are where we need to be. So I'm slightly off. So sorry. So I'm going to hit the move key on my screen, and I am going to shift. So the machine that we are currently stitching on is the XJ1, which does have a laser drop here. So I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Just a little bit in between all those pink flowers, there's a red dot. So that red dot will tell me where that is. And I just need to go up just a little bit and to the right, just a hair. Up a bit. Does that look good?
Looks good from here.
Good enough for Hoots for?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So my centering position shows me that I am in the center of that crosshair. If I don't have a light, I can drop my needle by turning the hand wheel towards me and just visually check that. So literally I can turn that down and go, yep, I am good. So I am comfortable with where that is. Check and make sure that your thread is what you want. You have a matching bobbin if you are quilting, something that's going to match, and you want to make sure that that is right.
Sandy, what hoop came
What's
with?
the yesterday Luminaire?
If you're talking about the, are you talking about the upgrade that I was just talking about? That is the 10 5/8 by 10 5/8 magnetic hoop with the purchase of the upgrade. But I apologize, Sandy. We're not 100% sure what you mean by yesterday Luminaire, but if you just purchased your upgrade yesterday, then you would receive one that looks just like that brother with the 6 different magnet pieces that attach it down, but is a larger size. Yes.
At the 10.5 by 10.5. If you are asking what would have came in the box, there was no magnetic hoop that came in the box when you purchased your Luminaire. You would have received a 4x4, 5x7, 10.5 by 10.5, and 10.5 by 16 standard hoop in your box. Hopefully that answered whatever question it was that you are asking. All right, we're going to lower the foot and we're going to go ahead and hit go. And this is a 2-minute stitch out, so it'll only take a moment. And it's just, you can see I've got some stitching over here and some stitching up top there. So it's just stitching in the gap. One thing I like they did a nice job with is they have the same size quilting in all of the different sizes. So, you know,
Yes.
an 8x12 hooping doesn't have, you know, larger.
Right, the design didn't
The
get
design
bigger.
didn't just shrink to.
So she said the comment made no sense. So Sandy, we don't understand what this means.
So hopefully you want, that's what you mean, is that didn't make any sense. So hopefully we answered your question. So this design is one of the plant designs from Kimberbell's website. It's a digital download. I just really liked the big palm leaves. I thought they were really pretty. So this is one that I bought. And you too can purchase this. You can follow the link from our site if you would like to. Oh, no worries. You don't have to apologize.
We were just trying to answer, but we weren't sure what the question was.
If we were answering it properly or not. So
yes.
You are very welcome. So yeah, that I really like this one. So it is a really nice design. And it's got multiple different size leaves in it and in all of the different design sizes. So it's varying everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So since I'm putting a 4x6 right next to it, I could rotate that and have the large, I could flip the design on the next one.
Absolutely.
And, you know, to keep it varied so they're not 3 stamps of exactly the same thing.
Right.
If we wanted to do that.
Yes,
that
we
would
can.
be something super simple. So that, ladies, maybe gents, is how you do this, and then that's how we roll.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will really quickly show you what we are thinking about doing for essentially how to make the clear blue tiles store in here.
So
They're right over there. Why
yeah,
don't you just grab those?
yeah. Do you want to do this?
It doesn't matter.
You're
And
right.
then
It sure doesn't.
just plop those on top. Yes.
So we've got two different
Pocket.
We've got two different pocket pieces here, and these are different widths because we have different width pieces. You can do
Yes.
this.
No, it's fine. I was just thinking it's really hard to see. I picked a very busy fabric. So yeah, there you go.
How about I put some pieces in
Some
there?
pieces in there.
That one's really big.
Yeah, that one would be kind of going under the back.
And so on and so on. You can.
Yep. So essentially, what we were doing is we were going to make some different size pockets that would accommodate your different clear blue tile pieces. They'll basically be sort of self-enclosed pockets. These are all open down here at the bottom because you could just lay these down at the bottom, and then when you go to bind that, that raw edge would be covered. So then you could either hang this up on a wall, you could slide it in a drawer, you could embellish it, you could do whatever you wanted to for your tiles.
And then to attach these, just do a top stitch right down these sides here, and that would then sew them to your stiff backing here,
Right.
so that it stays in position. So there are border tiles and there are block tiles. You were thinking having two of these, one for borders and one for blocks, because they are numerous in both types. And if you tried to put both of them all in one thing, you would end up with really thick pockets.
Question about the Luminaire Upgrade, which might be a good answer for them too. She has an XP one. If she does not have the first upgrade, can she upgrade, get the newest upgrade?
Yes, you can, but any time. So the first upgrade made a big change in the border function feature. And since this has to do a little bit with the border function feature, what we aren't sure about is what features she isn't going to get. So each one is self-standing,
Right.
but they kind of feed off of each other. So
They do interact with
there will be
current
parts
and-
that she won't have access to, but she could do that if she wanted to.
Right.
Okay.
So for instance, that first one expanded the border feature from like 30 by 40 to basically do a king
King-size
size
quilt.
piece. So you may still be able to use it, but you wouldn't be able to go out in size,
Yeah, exactly.
kind of thing. So, but to go back, these edges, once you trimmed,
Yep, and bound
trim
them.
that off and then bind it so you don't have raw edges or anything. Sew these down. You'd have a bound edge down here. You could have them, if you wanted your two pieces to sandwich together, you could sew the bottoms together if you would like to, so that you have a bag that closes up.
Yeah.
You could have two pieces that just have a handle on the top so they hang on the wall. Whatever floats your boat. Specific size-wise, we will get them more specific. We didn't plan this before we got to work today, so we both have the complete set at home open. So, but we just have miscellaneous ones here. So we want to make sure that everything is going to fit before we send you home with a pattern.
Yeah.
So we will play.
Yeah, we'll
And
play.
then we'll post a free pattern for that on the website. So
Yeah.
just give us a little bit of time to maneuver and make sure we've got the
Yep.
right numbers
Yeah,
for you.
well, it'll be done for sure by next week's Tuesday.
Absolutely.
But it could be sooner. But yeah, I realized when I was putting the pieces in and out that I don't have all the right sizes, because of course the size of the block, right, isn't necessarily the same size as the template.
Right.
So they're a little bit bigger and a
They
little
are.
bit taller, which in my mind I knew this, but I wasn't sure.
But when you were
how.
sewing and then, right, how much size and so on and so
Right.
forth.
So we'll get those measurements correct, and we'll come up with the correct pocket pieces and the sizes, and then we'll let you guys know. And then you'll have a nice way that you guys can store your
them and
clear
easily
blue
access
tiles.
them. And if, depending upon the fabrics that you use, you could even embroider on these individual pockets.
Yeah.
Before you sew them together, 2-inch blocks, 4-inch blocks,
Right.
so on and so forth, so that you know exactly what goes where.
Absolutely.
If you would like to, we would make sure that there's a,
Yeah.
this would be for.
Yeah. And there's also some really cute sewing stitches on the machine that would be really cute, either sewn across to decorate or in the embroidery. So if you picked a less busy fabric.
So this is super cute fabric. If you guys didn't get a really cute picture of that, that is buttons. I think they can probably even.
Buttons.
But those are just absolutely adorable. So those are buttons,
That would have been a good B word.
These are actually better than bootylicious. And then this one is a sewing fabric. It's actually, it's representative of quilts, of course.
Yeah.
So that's where we pulled those from. But you can pick something that doesn't have as much going on and add your own embellishment with stitches or like I said, labels or actual embellishment of flowers and sewing machines and whatever's too. So
Yeah.
lots of fun things. So
Yeah, we'll give you guys the base, and then
you can
hopefully you'll run with it
and then show us
show
what
us.
you did.
Yes. Yeah.
So clear blue tiles really take that stress out, because it is a lot of stress to math out, okay, what am I going to fit where, and how do I match it up and all of that. So the idea behind it is just, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful piece. And, they give you a really nice starting base with the swirls and the loops and then seasonal things. But if you own any of Kimberbell's pieces, if they had available clear blue tiles for it, they went back and added them. You can go back and download the clear blue tiles from their website. So if you purchased some previously, they didn't all have that. So dependent upon the type of design, whether that was an option or not. But go back and look if you purchased quilting patterns from back when they first started doing it, go back and look and see if they have a clear blue tile download. It would be, I think they're labeled clear blue tiles, but they do have a shorthand of it with CBT. So sometimes you might see a CBT option. That would be the clear blue tile. And so those are all there. And then when you purchase new ones, you usually get a clear blue tile option. And that would be the ones, you don't want the ones that have all of the squaring stitches and stuff. You do want the clear blue tile file. And that doesn't have all of that other stuff. It's just the quilting piece.
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry, Pat. When will they be absolute blue tiled?
So any piece that you are using the clear blue tiles would be considered done using the tiles. So the piece that we have here in the background, it has 2 more pieces that need to be done, and then that one would be done. And you can use anything that you want. If it's just one piece, you could even do like a mug rug with a clear blue tile if you wanted to define the center point.
Available in store. That makes much more sense.
Oh, thank you. I'm really fumbling over here. I'm like, what does she mean?
So they appear to be in stock.
They do. So
Probably next week.
I'm going to order direct from Kimberbell, so I hope that they'll be real soon. So if you would like, we can send you an invoice and we can hold you a set. That's not a problem.
And then we'll just...
let us know if you want both essentials and expansion, or if you just need the base set.
Yeah, and if you want both, well, actually, either one is going to... The $150 gets you free shipping. So
yes, you'll get free shipping on either set. So
Yep.
well, one or both, you'll get free shipping.
Yes. Oh, and look, Jennifer joined us. Hi, you're the reason we just started this whole project with the clear blue tiles.
Everybody say thank you to Jen.
Yeah, hi Jennifer, thank you Jennifer. So we'll get the instructions hammered out, but I think we have a good start on it, and that will be a lot of fun to do. And we
Absolutely.
can embellish it. And I mean, there's all kinds of fun stuff that you could do that. You could put like rickrack at the top and the edge.
Oh, heavens, yes.
Oh my goodness. There's so much stuff that you can do. Now I have so many things to do.
I know my brain is just overloaded.
Thanks, Jen.
I know. Thanks a lot.
All right. Well, that is about it for the day.
Yep.
Right? Can you think of anything? All right, great. We'll send you over something, or if you haven't ordered from us before, give us an email.
If you haven't ordered, if you're in the system, we'll find you. If you haven't ordered from our website before, if you could shoot us an email, stitching@labusewingcenter.com, and then we'll send you an invoice.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So thank you for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun for us. It was kind of a crunch, but it
we
made
always
it.
need a fun idea.
It is hard to come up with, what does anybody want to hear? So it's nice when somebody says, hey, what do I do with this? We're like, we'll do that.
Yes, that was a great thing.
That was fantastic.
And we'll be back tomorrow morning if you are working on your cup of cheer. And we're going to show you some of the more intricate applique blocks.
A little bit more complicated ones, the multi-hooping blocks. We will talk about the alignment that might be a little confusing for you and how that works, and how to make those work out.
Yeah.
And then I will look through the embellishments if there's anything that's like, I don't remember there being anything that was like, in the embellishments. They were pretty straightforward, but I will look through it just to make sure. And
well, and I think maybe if there's something else that we don't finish,
I was thinking maybe we could do it next Tuesday morning.
We could finish, next Tuesday morning. And go over that. Maybe talk
Somebody's
about
not gonna
borders
be here
again. I
next
know
Wednesday,
the nerve.
so.
Blame my dad. It's his fault. He's here. He's probably busy with my brother, so he's probably not watching. I'm sure he's not torturing my brother and sister-in-law
Making them watch
this. Maybe he should. That would have been a great birthday present for my sister-in-law yesterday. Here, watch Sarah on. It's bootylicious.
Bootylicious, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for watching us today, and we will see you next time, maybe even tomorrow morning. You guys have a great one. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
You find the right button. We're almost gone.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.